welcome to the Golden Hour. I am Golden Duffy, your host, and we are going to take thought beyond today. I am really excited for a conversation that I have never had before. In fact, I'm going to share this on my podcast this week as well, because alchemy is something that's really coming forth to me in a way that I need to express it to you. I need to give you the definitions for it, and I need you all to come along with me and to be the alchemist that you are. I'm getting this manifestation thing at a whole new level, and alchemy to me is the basis of manifestation. It is turning the energetic into physical matter. And that is what we're doing when we're manifesting. And the belief that we have in ourselves that we can do that, and the evidence that we begin to get from seeing our path unfold in these magical ways allows life to be so different. It allows life to be magical and fun and expressive and all that we want it to be. So I am looking for you to come with me on this journey into alchemy. Ooh, and I just made a rhyme. All right. So a friend of mine actually sent me a really cool definition yesterday, and I want to read it to you because it resonated so deeply with what I believe I'm here to do and what I believe you're here to do. So the alchemist is the visionary, catalyst, innovator, charismatic leader, mediator, shaman, healer, or medicine man or woman. They inspire people to commit to a higher vision of what they can be or do. This is what I have for you. I have a higher vision. I have so much belief in your ability to create so powerfully. Their service promises transformation and often has the allure of an instant change. They love synchronicity. One of my favorite things is synchronicity. Are unconventional, hopeful, and value the link between magic and practical outcomes. That is the science and the spirituality of manifesting that I am coupling together and handing to you as a package. The alchemist appeals to our desire to snap our fingers and experience a sense of magic, transforming ourselves or our situations into what we dream it can be. This definition blew me away yesterday. I was talking to my husband recently, and we were brainstorming along the lines of what is it exactly that I'm doing for people, and where do I go next from here? You know, I have the TV show, I have the podcast. I've been doing a lot of group coaching over the last couple of years, and now it's my time to show up, to up level to the next level, which is to be doing live events. So, formulating all of that and trying to come up with the words. My husband said it's alchemy. You basically help people take their lives of misery and turn them into joy. And I just fell in love with that. I was like, that's exactly what I do, because I give you the tools, I give you the information, and here's the alchemist in me. I transfer the energy to you so that you can grasp it, so that you can remember, so that you can awaken that part of you that is the magician. And then you start to co-create with the universe, which is such a beautiful way to live our lives. All right, so I looked up alchemy and just got a little bit of history on it for you. Alchemy was the name given in Latin Europe in the 12th century to an aspect of thought that corresponds to astrology, which I did not know. Both represent an attempt to discover the relationship of man to the cosmos and to exploit the relationship to the man's benefit. Astrology is concerned with man's relationship to the stars. The belief is that the process of human beings witness in heaven and on earth manifest the will of the creator, and if correctly understood, will yield the key to the creator's intention. Okay, let me explain this to you because it's so freaking exciting. When you begin to awaken and you meditate and you take time to quiet your mind and connect to higher consciousness, what you're doing is you're connecting to God, universe, source, infinite intelligence, whatever you like to call it. When you do that, your intention and expression become one with the creator. So we are the physical form of this creator, and it is experiencing life through us. Like, how cool is that? And why wouldn't we be able to be magical if that is the expression of what we are? So think about that for a moment. And I want you to think about, all right, hold on. I'm going to give you that in a second. Let me finish this definition. Transformation of matter, energy to matter, a seemingly magical process of transformation, creation, or a combination. Alchemy is best described as a form of proto-science rather than a distinct science in its own right. This is because although many observations and theories made by alchemists were based on scientific fact, they often explain these terms of magic or divine intervention. So science often doesn't like to acknowledge the spirit, but there have been many of, our founding scientific fathers who have said there is no doubt that there is something beyond us. So I think it's pretty cool that it's like considered this proto science. So it's something that kind of stands on its own and hasn't necessarily been deemed science, but the energy of alchemy, creating energetically into physical matter, is freaking magic. That's why I feel like our lives are so magical, and I want you to know this. I want to give this as a gift to you so that you can start being the magician in your own life, so that you can start realizing that the only thing that is stopping your manifestation powers is your limiting belief about it. So once we step into the beliefs and the decisions that actually support what we want to create, that's when we start to see magic truly created. And I am living proof. There's so much evidence of magic in my life. It blows my mind on the daily, I swear. All right. So, taking your life that may feel less than and making it more than you could ever imagine is what alchemy is. And it's stepping forward, it's moving up, it's deciding that this, whatever you're experiencing right now, if it is less than what you truly believe you want to live, or you truly believe you are worthy to live. Many of you do not believe you're worthy, but I'm going to tell you right here, right now, you are absolutely worthy to live anything that's on your heart. And this is why. Why would this great, if you believe in God, if you believe in spirit, source, universe, why would this great infinite intelligence put something on our hearts, put something in our awareness, put something in our the fulfillment of our desires? Why would that happen if we didn't have the ability to manifest it? That would be like some kind of cruel game. I just don't want to ever believe in that. I believe that if you have a calling, if something is on your heart, you have absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, have the wherewithal to manifest it. In fact, it's almost assured. The only thing that slows that energy down or keeps you from manifesting right now, from snapping your fingers, is your limitation about it. And it is your beliefs that keep it from you. You know, that belief that I'm not worthy or I'm not good enough or whatever it is. All of those beliefs, those fears, those fears that we come up against when we decide that we're going to live our dreams or do something different, or, it's terrifying. I know, you guys, I know how scary it is to say, I am going to sell everything I own and move to a new state that's 3,000 miles from the state I grew up in, and we're going to figure it out along the way. It's terrifying. It is almost, and I know this is why most people don't live their dreams, don't do what their heart is calling them to, because it's so uncomfortable. There's so much uncomfortability that has to do with becoming a new identity that most people go, no, I'm better off just staying the same. But I'm going to tell you right now, you are not better off staying the same. You are staying small. You are not experiencing life to the fullest. And the joy that you are keeping yourself from is exponential. And the wisdom and the intelligence and all of the things that are just ripe and ready for you to flow through you they're there. They're there. I've recently thought about the idea of the grid, and I love this idea of the grid. So whenever, right before we're about to learn something new, right before we're about to really connect with something and understand it, right? Like, think about the things that you've learned in your life, right? Right before you learned them, you were totally confused and they looked like jargon. They didn't make any sense. But because you stuck with it and because you continued to look at it and study it and work to understand it, pathways opened up to you. Yeah, new neural pathways in your brain opened up. And I always think of it like the grid fills in and you understand how to do it. And this happened to me recently. I'll give a little announcement on this. I wasn't really going to do that today, but I'm so freaking excited. I'm going to be doing some live events, and I'm probably going to do a 2-day event or a 2.5-day event. And, this is big for me. It's something that I've been wanting to do for years. And I've been wanting to get out of my house and get off Zoom and be with the people, be with the energy field. Because when you're in a room with me, I'm telling you, it's 100 times more feels than this is. And this is transference of energy. That's like on steroids. So being in a room with people really gets me excited, but it's like finding the place and how do I do it and how do I market it and how do I get the people there? And I had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman who knows how to do this, and he was giving me ideas and telling me what to do. And I got in that space of overwhelmment, right? Which is what we do when we have new things happening and we have to step outside and become more and become bigger. And I had a moment, and I was talking to somebody. I was actually doing a coaching session with someone. And in the middle of that coaching session, I realized, oh my goodness, I don't have to do that. I don't have to feel overwhelmed. Because the grid's going to fill in. So think about this every time you embark on something new, that grid is getting ready to fill in, and be excited about that and just continue to move forward without all the doubt and the fear. It's not necessary anymore. One of my new sayings is no drama necessary. And that's what that means. There's no drama necessary. I don't need to do that to myself. So as soon as I shifted that, snap my fingers, I got all these ideas, and I woke up with ideas this morning, and I'm already formulating this plan and plot and figuring out exactly what I need to do to make this live event happen. So if you're excited to see me live, I'm going to share those details really soon. As soon as I get a place and I get that all clicked in, I will let you know. It'll be most likely looking at late September, and that will give people enough time to organize travel or whatever they have to do. Not totally sure where I'm going to do it yet, but I have a pretty good idea. So gather your friends, gather your family. Let's make this an epic event where I can show you exactly how to become the alchemist. Within those few days, that's what we're going to do. We're going to work hard to release the things that keep you from knowing your own magic. All right. Didn't know I was going to say all that. Okay. So by recognizing that you are the great emitter, so you are emitting this signal all the time, you are sending signals to the universe, you are sending signals to your partners, your bosses, your kids, you're sending signals all the time. Many times those signals have to do with how you feel inside, how you feel about yourself. Are you feeling guilty? Are you feeling obligatory? Are you feeling like you need to people please? Are you feeling shame? Whatever you're feeling, you are beaming that signal out to the universe. And because of that giant signal that goes out, everything, all that frequency just creates and pulls things back to you. That's the law of attraction. That's that magnetic force that reflects exactly how you're feeling inside. This is why positive thinking doesn't really work. When people say, oh, I love when people say, I'm trying to be positive. I'm like, there's no try. Okay. We decide and we do, or we fail. Like, trying is an excuse to fail, because it's like, well, I'm going to try it, but it's probably not going to work. When you decide, when you really put the force in to decide, I'm going to think in a higher vibrational frequency. I'm going to pull my thoughts up continually. I'm going to be diligent and aware about what signal I am sending so that I can create the most life possibility for me, the most life potential for me. So you are sending this signal to every event in your life by how you feel and how you believe. And then that signal is coming back to you. I put a post up on Facebook today. If you don't follow me on Facebook, look for I'm just Goldyn Duffy on Facebook, but I have a group called Manifest to Live Life Goldyn on there, on Instagram as well. And I post every single day. And today my post was all about what do you really believe? What are you really looking to create in this life story? Because you are the alchemist. So when you put yourself in a place of recognizing that and deciding, am I going to drop my vibration because this person was rude to me? Am I going to drop my frequency because I had a sad thought about something? I had a little disappointment thing happen right before this show. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do with that? Am I going to feel unsupported? No, that's not, it's a choice. So I get to go now and I get to say, do I really want to do that? And do I really want to feel that? And that choice comes after some work. It comes after you've healed, you've dealt with your stuff, and you're ready to let go of addictions. I'm working hard on not being the type of person who goes, flip the switch, people, let's go, because I am so practiced at it. But I can share with you that practice, which I'll be doing in my live events. And that practice just gets easier and easier and easier. And your choice becomes more solid because you're not constantly trying to deal with this emotional field like overwhelming you or taking you over. And it doesn't mean that I'm not emotional, because I do still have stuff. But I've realized that shift that we make between the depressy thoughts, those thoughts that make you feel depressed, or those thoughts that can bring you down. Like, we've had some seriously cloudy weather in California, and a lot of people are struggling with that. My kids, myself, sometimes I'm like, where is the sun? But understanding that the circumstantial evidence outside of us does not have to create what's happening inside of us. I tell my kids every day before they leave right now, I say, you be the sunshine. We have to be the sunshine right now for people. We have to share our light because our sunshine is inside of us, right? We've got sunshine in our own minds by being able to release ourselves from these low vibrational energies and thoughts. We can beam the light to other people. We can be lighthearted. We can feel the energy of the sun, even if we can't feel it in our outside world. We have it within us. All right. So when you change the signal, you change the energy field. This is alchemy. It's alchemy when you change the signal, when you decide. My daughter was telling me a little story about a woman at work, and she was saying that, she's really difficult and people are having a really hard time with her. And I said, well, what if you were different to her? What if you were the one that didn't exchange energy with her? Like, she must be hurting, there must be pain there. There must be something that she's unhappy about. And I said to my daughter, you know what that feels like. My daughter's been through a lot of emotional stuff and pain, and she has really picked herself up, like just pulled herself up by the bootstraps and made her life something better. She really has done that at, a very young age. And I said, well, you of all people know how that feels. You got to shine your light back to her. So she said today, the woman came into the break room and they had this great conversation, and she shared her lunch with her, and it was amazing. And I said, honey, you did that. So that's the other piece of this, is you got to take credit when you do stuff like this, when you shift energy like that. And you conduct and send a new signal, instead of being like, this woman's a jerk and she's super rude. Instead, beaming some compassion to that person shifts the whole thing. That's alchemy. All right. So what do you want to believe? What do you want to believe about your life stories? So in the Facebook post today, I shared how many of us have been programmed for worst case scenarios. Make sure you have a plan B, because plan A is most likely not going to work out. Make sure, if things feel too good to be true, they probably are. I've heard that one many times. Waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, things are going really well, I'm just waiting for something to go wrong. Are these things familiar to you? Yes. These are societal programmings that we grew up with, that we have believed up until now. We don't have to believe those things anymore. So becoming the alchemist in that energy field is not preparing for the worst. It's not being fearful of the worst always happening. It's not preparing your energy field for worst case scenarios. It's taking your power back. And it's deciding. So my advice in my post was to close when something happens and it's not great, it's something maybe that you didn't want to happen. Understand when things happen that you don't want to happen, they're there for clarification. So they're there for clarification and also to spark your desire for something new. We are creators. We are always meant to express and we are always meant to desire. When we stop desiring, you see it with older people. They die, their minds die. There's nothing there. There's no life force. Desire is our life force. So it doesn't mean that we desire a whole bunch of materialistic things, but yes, materialistic things are part of the energy field that show us evidence of alchemy, right? Of alchemy. Absolutely. I created this. This is my world. I get to create it. When you go outside and there's like a beautiful landscape, take that in. Take that in because you created that. That was the world that you wanted to live in. That's the world that you choose to live in. If you're surrounded by a whole bunch of junk and garbage and maybe poverty, like let's look at that, because if that's the case, where do we need to go to up level if this is not the world that you want to see anymore? Do you feel like garbage inside? I tell this is such an important fact. Somebody was telling me a story the other day about their cat peeing on their husband's clothes. Okay. And and this has happened in other case scenarios. And I said, well, and he gets really, really mad. Her husband gets really, really mad. So I'm like, well, what's the word? Everybody's pissed, right? Like the cat's pissed, the guy's pissed. Like it's evidence of how you feel inside. So take note of that. If you have a bunch of garbage in your life, if you have a bunch of crap in your life, do you feel crappy inside? It's all a reflection. So you have to take that and you have to go, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel this anymore. How do I start to up level? And right now you may feel like that's a grid that hasn't filled in yet. I don't know how to do that. I've been feeling bad for so long. I don't really know how to feel good. So I'm going to give you some tips on that. Just some little shifts you can make every single day that are really going to help you. Okay. So, okay, what do you want to believe? What does not believing in yourself or your abilities getting you? So, anytime we have an addiction to an emotion like doubts or unworthiness or resentment or anger, anytime we gravitate towards those lower emotional fields, we're getting something out of it. So, it could just be like a hormone that downloads in your body, like adrenaline or cortisol. You could be addicted to cortisol. You could be addicted to drama because it makes you feel something, right? Do you like watching a lot of dramatic things on TV? You could have a little addiction to drama. Many of us do because it's what we understand as a society is an integral part. Like our emotional field is something that we want to feel. We want to feel all aspects of it, even if it doesn't make us feel great. Why do people go to scary movies? They like the adrenaline. They like the fear. They like feeling that. I do not. I personally do not tune into frequencies that are of a low vibration when it comes to things like that or crazy music. Because if you look at a vibrational field, if you look at the vibrations of music, there's like 528 hertz is like the vibration of love. If you look at those, they're of the higher vibrational fields. If you look at certain music, it's of a low vibrational field. And usually those scary movies have that kind of music in there. And, lots of people like that music and lots of people like those movies. And the reality is they're just tuning themselves into a frequency that's full of fear, fright, death, murder. I mean, we got to wake up to these things because as a society as a whole, if we want to awaken the collective, if we want to be part of this awakening of the consciousness, we have to stop doing things like that. We have to start raising our vibration and bringing other people up with us. All right. So becoming the alchemist means you understand energy. So here we go. Quantum physics. I always love to give a little lesson in quantum physics because, I was never into science, but when I started to study universal law and law of attraction, the grid filled in for me. I started to understand it at a different level. And I think when I explain it like this, you start to understand what's happening in your field of energy. So you have this field of energy all around you, right? And I always have this wave behind me so you understand the quantum wave of energy. When you have a thought, right, it doesn't exactly manifest. Not every thought manifests, but once you start to feel, which is they say is like within 68 seconds, you start to have a feeling around that thought. Some people can feel right away. You can have a thought and a feeling like that, like super quick. then you're manifesting a lot faster. But once you start to have that emotion, that energy and motion comes out into a wave and it starts to break down. This is alchemy. It starts to break down into physical matter. And soon enough, you have physical evidence of it. Now, it may not exactly be what you were dreaming of. Like, let's say you want to become a millionaire and you want abundance and you want lots of money. Well, that evidence of abundance in your field might be somebody else's luxurious house or luxurious car. That's evidence of it in your field. Now, what happens is how you feel about somebody else driving a beautiful car is indicative of your signal. So if you look at that beautiful car and you go, oh, I just love beautiful cars. I love beautiful homes. They're all evidence to me. You're on the right track. This wave is going to keep going. It's going to keep breaking down into physical matter. If you look at that car or that house and you think, oh, it's so not fair. Why did they get that and I don't? Then you're pulling that wave. That wave's coming crashing down and there's going to be no physical evidence of it, just you in a lower vibrational field. So that's how that works. Now, it doesn't mean that you can just become a millionaire like that, although you can. You absolutely can. There has to be some beliefs around it, and you have to be in the alignment of that, like in the worthiness of believing, yes, I am worthy of incredible wealth, right? You have to believe that. You have to trust that. And you have to notice the evidence and get excited about it. So as your financial picture gets better and better, you've got to get excited about it. You've got to go, oh, I feel so free that I can do these things. I feel so free that I can go on vacation. Every year we rent a beach house in Newport. That feels so good to me to stay. I stay in the same house because it's my house now. Like it's like this, I don't know. I think it's a $6 million house. It's a beautiful home. And so when I go there, I feel like it's my house. I feel like that's mine. So that feeling is alignment. Now I know what it feels like to stay in a beautiful beach home. So do the things that will up level you into abundance. Now, if you're not in the place to be able to do that, to be able to experience things like that yet, get into it energetically. Allow yourself to visualize it. Look at pictures. Go on Airbnb and look up some cool beach houses and imagine what it would be like to live there. And then it's taking your cues from the universe. So I was talking to somebody recently and they had this idea and they wanted to make a certain amount of money for the year. And it's a great idea. It's a great idea to go, I want to make $250,000 a year. It's an awesome idea. But the point is, do you have any sort of plan in place to do that? Because if you don't have a plan, it's an airy fairy thought. And our airy fairy thoughts are fun. They can be fun, but they will end up becoming frustrating if there's nothing backing them. If there's nothing pulling this wave to become more, you don't really have anything to go on. So if you have this idea, okay, I'm going to make $250,000 in the year. What do I need to do that? What energetically would I need to do that? How would that work? How many people would I need? This was for a coaching thing. How many people would I need to coach? How many groups would I need? How many programs do I need to put out? And what kind of hourly structure am I going to work every week to get myself to this $250,000 a year? If you don't do that, you don't have enough pushing the energy field. All right, so that's quantum physics. You are determined and diligent with your focus. Now, I see this a lot. And luckily, I'm not guilty of this, but it's diluted focus. And I have actually had diluted focus in the past. I think I've shared, not sure if I shared this on here or on my podcast, when I was looking to manifest a Mercedes, right? I wanted a Mercedes for like 10 years and I really wanted to manifest one. And I mean, I have a car payment. It's not like I've got a free Mercedes, but it became possible in my life experience to handle a Mercedes car payment. So what ended up happening was I was all over the place with my focus. I was like, well, maybe I want an Acura or maybe I want an Infinity. And I would go and I test drove Infinities and I had an Infinity and I was like, well, maybe I wanted an SUV. I was all over the place. And then I realized I need to focus. I need to focus on one particular car to push that wave towards the car. And once I did that, within 2 weeks, I was driving a car. I was driving my car that I really wanted. So It's all about energy conduction. I visualized it. I stopped visualizing it. This is really interesting. When you're doing identity creation, alchemy, instead of putting something way out in the future, this is what we've kind of been taught with visualizing is we see ourselves 5 years out, right? My hair is longer, like 5 years out, I can get that Mercedes. And it's like, if we really want to be powerful manifestors, why are we not looking at it as if we're living it now? So I started to actually see my hands on the steering wheel and see myself looking out of the windshield. That's a different energy field than seeing myself way out there 5 years from now driving that Mercedes. The same thing happened with moving to California. When we lived in Connecticut, it took 4 years for us to actually alchemize. That's not right. Alchemize. I like that word, but I don't think it's right. But to actually create the alchemy that created that move came from a strong decision, plane tickets booked, started selling our stuff. That was the energy field that allowed the energy to turn into physical matter. The 4 years before that, I was energetically doing it. It was just making that connection between the energy and the physical by taking those steps forward, those scary, scary steps forward. You have to let go of addictive emotions. You have to. These lower emotions that you're giving into all the time, the stress, the frustration, the BS, all of those are dropping your vibrational field. An alchemist is not in low vibration. Think about a magician, right? They're in the magic, they're in the wonder, they're in the awe, they're in the power of their center to create, not in the lower vibrational energy. So anything that is bringing you into a lower field has to go. And that doesn't mean that you need to just, move out of your house. It doesn't. It means that everything that's coming to you, every relationship, there's a way that you feel about it. There's a story that you put around it that conducts. So you have to change that. You have to interrupt it. You have to say, I'm not going to feel that anymore. Yesterday, I had a little bit, my family was struggling a little bit. My girls were struggling a little bit emotionally. And I literally hid in my room. And last night I had a little epiphany, or maybe it was this morning, about my gratitude for my girls and how much they do bring sunshine and light. And some days they need that, sometimes they need that sunshine beamed on them instead of me hiding in my room. I was getting a lot of things done. My room is my office. So understanding that, I shifted this morning and I saw something very different from them today. Everybody woke up happy and different. So it's okay. But the signal that you're sending to each family member that you're living with, or, people that you're in relationship with or partnership with, those signals are conducting for you and they're creating for you. And every time you drop your vibe, you are taking yourself out of your manifestational abilities. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. Good Lord. All right. You no longer tune into the same stations. So you start tuning into different stations. You start doing things on the daily. Here we go. Mindful Manifestations, Daily Secret Guide and Journal. I don't think I have a banner on that one because it's on Amazon. You have to search it. Here we go. You have to search it, and you got to search it with my name because Amazon kind of hit it. It is a journal, but it has like 100 pages. It's got affirmations. I mean, this book is so fantastic, and it's got room for you to write. I mean, come on now. But this will give you a daily guide to raising your vibration that is super duper helpful. So I would highly suggest that one. And then my other book is Mindful Manifestation Secrets. That is the basic guide to how manifestation works and how we did it from moving from Connecticut to California. And that also has my podcast episodes that support each chapter. So it gives you more information to look for. All right. So I'll just throw this up while we're at it. My meditation. This is a little meditation teaching that you can find on my website that will help you to learn how to meditate and start to really quiet your mind so you can start making thoughtful decisions and become more aware about those addictive emotions. Okay. So not tuning into the same stations means every single day you have an opportunity to wake up and to do something different, to feel something different, to be something different. So what are the things that you can put in place to support that high vibrational energy field that you want to be in, that alchemist that you are? What can you do every single day and get out of the indecision, the confusion, or the not doing what you say you know that you need to do to be in your greatest self, like your greatest identity, your greatest potential. So number one is meditation. You can grab my teaching. I think it's like $47. There's tons of stuff on YouTube, tons of meditations, guided meditations. I have some guided meditations. And if you go to my YouTube channel and you subscribe and you let me know, like comment on it and give me your email address, I will send you a free guided meditation. I have a self-love one that's like my favorite, that will help you to tune into worthiness. So in that vibrational field, when you get up in the morning and you meditate. So I do some things before I meditate. I usually meditate around like 4 or 5 hours after I woke up, because that's when I'm ready to create that kind of clarity. In the first thing in the morning, I write because I love writing. Writing is the strongest form of focus. So you can do scripting, which is where you write out what you want to happen as if it already did. So you write it out in present tense. This is super powerful stuff. You make a list of things you want. I was working with somebody recently and he was looking for some new employees. And I said, well, write down exactly what you want. Write down the income you want to make. Write down the sales you want to make. Write it all down, because that's a super strong form of focus. After that, I mean, exercise to me is one of those things that is like a free drug. It's like serotonin. Serotonin just downloads in your body. You get, those happy hormones. You don't have to love exercise, but moving your body is part of life force and it's part of moving forward. So it could be a walk in the woods. Walking is incredibly good for you. Think of some other things you can do: a gratitude list, a list of appreciation, continually focusing on nature. I love to look outside and watch the hummingbirds. We've had this little nest of birds in our little bird feeder that have been super fun to watch. Petting your cat or your dog. Animals are a great way to align us with love and the good feelings. What else can you do? What else do you love? What else brings you into a feeling of well-being? Is it a bath? Is it a phone call with a friend? I had a phone call with a couple people today that just made me feel, when I actually love to do, I do interview calls for the show to get people on my show. I love doing those first thing in the morning because it's usually very exciting, and it's usually meeting great people and hearing their story and connecting. I'm all set all day when I'm in that high vibe of meeting great people. So think about that for yourself. What brings you into that high vibrational high vibrational feeling? Is it food? Is it really super healthy food? I'm on this like smoothie journey right now. I'm having a good time with it. In fact, I'm going to have my super cool friend, Dr. Ben, come on really soon to talk to you about high vibrational eating and food and juicing and smoothing and the whole thing. He's going to be so great to be on. So he'll be on soon. All right. So after a little while, once you start to really gain the awakening and really put yourself in a high vibrational place, you're going to start to recognize how powerful you are. You're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to look better, and you're going to start to be better. You're going to emotionally, physically, and spiritually, you're going to feel balanced. You're going to feel more connected. You have placed value on yourself, and you know your true worthiness. This is the alchemist. You know your worthiness. You know that when you have a desire, you absolutely have what it takes to manifest. It's just working with the grid. It's being excited for that grid to fill in. So much of the stuff, I shared this on Facebook yesterday too, how the only thing that keeps us from manifesting what we want, the only thing that keeps you from manifesting what you want is the beliefs that get in the way of it. It's the doubts, it's the crap, it's the stuff that brings us down. That's what keeps us from manifesting. It's the fears. When I started to think about doing that live event and I started to get a little overwhelmed, I started thinking about all the things that could not go right. And why would I want to send that signal? That's bonkers. But it's a programming for us to do that. To think about all the things that could potentially go wrong is a way for our minds to keep us safe, to keep us out of risk, to keep us out of danger. It's also a great way to keep us stuck and living less of an existence. All right. You cannot change the energy field if you believe you are unworthy to do so. So if you're new to this information, you may not quite feel worthy yet. You got to do some little experiments. You got to show yourself. You got to start looking for the signs that you are powerful. Way back in the day, I read E Squared by Pam Grout. I highly recommend that book. I was actually going to reach out to her to see if we could get her on the show. E Squared was one of my favorite books. 9 simple experiments you can do to prove the law of attraction works. She just has these little things and things that tune you into certain frequencies. Like one day it was, I needed to find sunset beige cars, and I found 111 of them. I mean, it was crazy. They were beside me. They were everywhere. And I'm like, I did this. I tuned into this and I created this. And that's what started to build the confidence. And then it starts to get bigger and better. You start doing riskier things. You start to live life to the fullest because you start to gain the confidence that you have the ability. And I have seen this across the board with so many people, my own children, my husband, hundreds and hundreds of people. I have seen evidence of this that has helped to build my my own confidence in the energy to create. All right, you cannot become a real player in this game if you are playing at half power. So I want you to think about what brings you into half power. Is it fighting with your spouse? Is it getting upset that you have to spend time with family members? Is it, complaining about work, complaining about people at work? Is it a feeling of being left out, abandonment, resentment? Resentment's a big one, because we live these lives and we often have wounds that we don't deal with. So there's trauma. All of those things chip away at your power. And then you're playing the game at half power because you're consistently doing this up and down thing, right? Like you feel good some days, you feel good for an hour, then you're down, right? Because you're looking at the outside world and you're making decisions about it that don't promote best case scenarios. All right. Activated thoughts and emotions that consistently trigger you and bring you down is the energy field of what you no longer want to be a part of, because that energy field is not in that higher vibration of alchemy. Anytime we have negative emotion, it's because we have a belief that either something hasn't gone our way or something isn't going to go our way. Yeah. And that's powerless. It's powerlessness. All right. The force you are an integral part of is strong and sure. I want you to really understand that today. This is my intention for you. The force that you are a part of is so strong and so sure that when you have that desire, that force comes in and partners up with you and locks arms with you and is ready to go. You're the only thing that keeps the force back. All right, so let's break it down. I'm going to break down Manifesting 101 with you so you can understand alchemy at a deeper level. Manifesting 101, you have a desire. Many times this desire comes on the heels of something you didn't want. A lot of times that kicks up a desire. You're feeling broke, you don't have enough money, you're feeling super restrictive. Guess what the desire is? More money, abundance, freedom. That's the desire. That desire wouldn't be there without the constriction of your funds, without feeling like you don't have enough financially. So in a lot of ways, you could look at it as an opportunity. Oh, my low bank account is an opportunity for me to have a desire to create more abundance in the world. How good is that? That's a shift in perception. All right. So once this ramps up your desire and the clarity of it, okay, manifesting is really, really easy when you have strong clarity. When you have strong clarity and you have strong decision, you have a strong energy field towards conduction. So clarity. I don't have enough money. I want more money. I am an abundant person. I'm an abundant being. I want to live an abundant life. What can I do to feel more abundant? That's the clarity of your desire. You begin to formulate more of your desire either through living what you don't want or deciding what you do want. And that choice is yours. And if you haven't been manifesting great things, it's because you've been in the opposite direction. You've been too much in the density of what is instead of in the creating of what can be. Oh, that was so good. You're too much in the density of what is, and not strong enough in your activation of what can be, of what you desire, of what you, the alchemist, has the potential to create. What slows everything down is resistance and the insistence that things can't get better. So that addiction you have to complaining about the way things are, that addiction you have to the foods that are keeping you physically unhealthy, the addiction that you have to the crap on TV that doesn't actually raise your vibration, but actually lowers it and actually makes you wake up in the middle of the night super worried and anxious and fearful. Those are the things that slow the energy field down. The fighting against what is right now will slow the energy field down. There has to be a level of surrender and acceptance to allow energy to flow. All right, it's being in love with the story of your demise or the reasons why you can't have what you want. It's the dramatization and the addiction to the drama that messes up your manifestation game. So how in love with you are you? How much miserable conversations do you have about it? How much energy do you put around what you don't like that's happening? Okay, because that's what's stronger. You can still manifest despite that. I mean, we're human beings. We need to share what's bothering us. We need to vent, as they say, right? Unfortunately, people take venting to like a career. We all have those friends. They just want to tell us what's wrong, instead of telling us what they're grateful for or what they're excited about. I love to help people do that, like to shift that when you're in the middle of a conversation and they're just complaining. It's like, so what good is happening? What do you want to happen? Asking those thoughtful questions that can help people shift and doing it for yourself as well. So if you want to speed things up, it's time to decide that you are the magician, that you are the alchemist, and you have the potential to create that which is on your heart, that which you most desire. Decide what you want and interrupt every little thing that tries to tell you that you can't have it. Just interrupt it. And that's what I did from yesterday. It wasn't very long. And I believe that's why I woke up so excited this morning, messaging people at 4:00 in the morning, like, let's go, let's do this thing. Let's get this thing together. It's so exciting. And now I have other ideas that are coming. But I wouldn't be having that pathway of ideas if I was still in the low vibrational doubts about what I was doing and if I could actually do it. Of course I can do it. Of course I can do it. I'm the alchemist. Of course I can do it. And you can as well, whatever it is. All right. Write it down. Write it down, write it down, write it down. It's the strongest form of focus is scripting. And when you write it down as if it's presently already happened, like I am the alchemist. I am enjoying a life of freedom and abundance. And I am so excited for my trip to share this information with other people. I see a room packed with excited people who want to be part of this alchemy. I see a room of people who want to be part of a movement where we are no longer victims to governments, to parents, to spouses, that we actually take our power back on every single front and become these powerful creators that we are. And then we become the alchemists in other people's lives and show them how to do the same. So I see that and I'm excited. And you're going to be there. If you want to be there, you're going to be there. You're already thinking about, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And I don't know how much it costs. I know you're doing that. Don't do that. Because if you really truly decide and believe in something, you absolutely have the wherewithal to manifest it. And there's plenty of time to manifest what we're going to do together. All right. Look for signs. I love to look for signs. Look for signs in license plates. Look for signs in birds. I know lots of people that have, believe passed away loved ones are birds, and those birds become signs. And guess what? Doesn't matter if it's true or not. Those signs raise vibration. They raise faith. They raise a feeling of being in the etherical, being in that energy of non-physical. It's so cool. So look for signs. For me, license plates, numbers, if you look up numbers on any kind of Google, like what does 555 mean or 777, the number thing is like the alignment of numbers to me is always meaningful, and I have my own meanings for them. So it doesn't matter, sometimes I'll look one up to get a different view. I believe everything that you Google when you're in the energy of that will give you answers that you need. It's just always been that way for me. So 777 always means I'm in alignment with the divine. That's what it means to me. 333 is ascended masters. Like I'm in the energy of ascended masters and they are smiling down on me and supporting what I'm doing. 888 is always abundance. It's the abundance of the universe. Whenever I see it, I feel abundance. And guess what that does? It raises your vibe. 444 is angels. I've been seeing 444 everywhere. The other day, my friend and I saw 555 so many times, and she had forgotten her sunglasses back at the store, and we went back to get it. And one of our favorite girls was there that we hadn't seen yet. She came in off a break, and she had a necklace on that said 555. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Once you start really living in this like really cool world of magic, you can't make it up. It's like, it's too obvious. It's too precious. It's too incredible to really understand that. I had one really, this is just popping in my head, so I have to share it. One really incredible thing happened. I ran a retreat last year with two incredibly special women to me. And we did a meditation in the morning. We did a meditation on the beach. We rented a beach house. And on the meditation was, it was a girl with an umbrella. And I did this whole meditation around it. And then we went through the whole day, and then we went out to dinner that night, and we were looking in the store of a jewelry store window, and there was a girl with an umbrella, a little charm. And I was like, like that stuff just blows me away, and it raises my vibration, and it raises my confidence in the energy field, and it raises my ability to know I am in partnership. There's an orchestration going on here that loves us, that supports us, that brings us into the energy field of knowing who we are and what we are connected to, which is mystical and magical. So look for the signs. They're there. All right. Move energy by meditating and turning up the volume of your intuition. So this is super important. When you meditate, you will get stronger at your intuition. Your intuition will get louder. Your intuition is your inner and higher guidance, right? It bypasses the mind. It comes from the heart. And that's why I say close your eyes, go into your heart, and ask your heart what it really wants when you're going into a new desire. When something not so great happens, go into your heart and ask yourself, how do I want this to play out? And get the answers there, and then start leaning towards that vision instead of the worst case scenarios. The belief that you are the alchemist comes with time. It comes with a little bit of time, and it comes through showing yourself through manifestation that you are a manifester. The belief that, imagine if you could move energy with your mind. Just imagine this for a second, okay? Imagine if you could influence the energy field with your signal. Imagine if you could write something down and manifest it. Imagine a world where you get to choose how you feel, and then what is created is based on your amazing ability to feel incredible. All right, so now let's turn these imaginings into reality, because they are already true and ready for you to believe in them. You are already the alchemist. You are already the magician. It's just me, up to me right here, right now, to remind you, to awaken this within you, to give you the potential of possibility, right? Like when we start considering something new, when somebody gives us like a different perspective. My favorite thing is to give people new perspectives, because new perspectives shift energy. Because if we're always thinking in the same way, that limited box, that limited thinking, this is the way it is, this is the way it's always been, this is the way it's always going to be. When we do that, we're not conducting the field. We're not creating from this infinite potential field. When we open ourselves up to perspective, we literally change the energy field, because, remember the signal, because we feel different. When we feel different, we create different. And that gets me so jazzed. I was talking to somebody recently who felt like they didn't have a choice over their feelings. And I get that. And I've been there, and I totally understand. It's a level. It's a level. And, having that belief in some way may serve you, but in a lot of ways, it's detrimental to your manifestational power. So start looking at your feelings, grab this journal, this mindful manifestation journal. This will help you to dig in. It'll help you to dig deeper into your stories, into your beliefs, into the things that need to be healed. Start digging into that. Start asking yourself, well, why do I feel this way? First, ask yourself, where is it in my body? And then where is the foundation of it? Where was the first time I ever felt this energy before, this feeling before? And it'll pop up. It's crazy. I've done this with hundreds of people in sessions. It pops up and it's like, oh yeah, when I was 8 years old, this happened. And now I have a belief about this. And then you just got to ask yourself, do I want to keep creating from that belief? Most of the time, those beliefs are founded in adults in our life, parents in our life, just other people in our life. So we have to start, asking ourselves, do I want to keep believing this? Do I want to create what my dad created? Do I want to create what my mom created? Do I want to live the life that they lived? If you don't want to, guess what? You don't have to. That's the beautiful thing about this life experience, is that we do have a sense of autonomy. We do have this sense of individualism where we get to choose. Now there's programmings. So you got to get hip to those programmings and you got to start deciding, do I want to be programmed in that way? Do I want to believe that about people? Do I want to believe that about the world that I live in? And if I do consistently believe this, what kind of evidence am I going to see? Is it of poverty? Is it of constriction? Is it of fear? Nobody wants to live that. It's just an addiction. It's just a habit. It's just a habit, us living fearful and broke and scared. And I've been there and it's not freaking fun. I'll tell you that. So step into abundance. What does abundance mean to you? What does it mean to feel abundant? What does it mean to feel free? And is there any way possible that you can feel that way in your life right now? Because you have to activate it. You got to activate it. You got to feel it. You got to become one with it. You've got to start sending the signal to it, right? You got to start sending the signal to it and raising that vibration time over time, moment over moment, every single day, being diligent and determined. Is it easy? No. Is it simple? Yeah, it's simple. It's just determination. That's what it is. And sometimes we get lazy and we get sloppy with our thinking and we dropped into these lower vibrations, and that's okay. That's our human existence, right? We wouldn't know joy unless we knew sadness. So it's okay to be sad sometimes. That's what I need. That's what I needed to recognize in my children yesterday. Like, it's okay for them to be sad sometimes. I don't need to rescue them. I don't need to hide from them, right? I just need to be me. I need to shine my light, and that's it. So it's up to us, you guys. It's up to us to take our power back, to become the alchemists that we are, to live in this magical world and to create a world where we love to live. All right. I love you all. Peace out. Let me find my screen here. All right. Peace.